Hey guys, Crowbars here, and we're here with episode 30 of Pump Up My Tower. This one, we're going over Man's Tower. It looks like they're on the newer side of things, but yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. Um, Ultimate weapons. So we've got a lot to think about here. I would definitely work on getting the cooldown worked on for Golden Tower. That's going to really help your econ. It doesn't cost that much. It's only like 10 stones right now. So each upgrade will definitely make a difference. And the closer you are to having as minimal amount of cooldown as possible, the more you'll notice. But with this kind of stone cost, which is like nothing compared to pretty much everything else, damage less, but like this is super easy to knock down. I would definitely work on that. Another thing, since you do have Chronofield, you can work on the Chronofield Duration Lab. Eventually, you'll need it, so you can just save one slot to just for that, and it's going to save you a lot of stones in the long run. The downside is you're not able to pick up things now that are helpful as much, but it'll save you a lot of stones just to be able to lab it out, get it done. I wouldn't put anything into this until you're much further along, stone wise. But the labs are good. Next ultimate weapons. Praying that you get black hole. Um, Black hole will do you a lot of good. Uh, until that time comes, I would say black hole, death wave, and then smart missiles. And then I think after that point, you're really gonna have everything that you're gonna need to really start to make the transition from early game into like kind of the mid game ish area. Yeah, but cooldown, that's really cheap. You can jump into that, and that'll be nice, I think. Um, I took a look briefly down here earlier, but Golden Bot, yeah, still early on. But you've got the right ideas as far as like putting more preference towards range. You could do a little bit into bonus. I would really focus on these two for now, and then yeah, with range being kind of where you're at, where it's like yeah, we're putting a lot more into that. Let's see here. We've got you mentioned that usually you have lab speed in this spot. By the time that I'm getting around to this video, you will probably already be done. So keep lab speed in there. Don't take it out for any reason. Yeah, I just keep lab speed in there all the time. And I think this last lab, that's health. Yeah. Yeah, right. Let's dive into some of these. Modules, you're fine where you're at. Using free ups is fine for where you're at. Once you get black hole, that'll change. But for now, what you've got here is fine. Yeah. Not worried about substats too much, but yeah, that's fine. For Black Hole Digester, you're not worried about package as much. The free ups are good, but package for Black Hole Digester, you get the most out of free upgrades on this one. So you want ideally free ups in maybe all three slots, but coins per kill bonus. That's actually pretty good for this level and everything. I think that's probably maybe a higher rarity of that would be good, but yeah. Yeah, probably do coins per kill bonus, keep the free up, and then keep this one, a better version of this, and maybe another free up, and you're solid there. I think that's the only one that I would really worry too much for the time being. Boosting up. Other than that, the rest are fine. Got game speed max, that's good. The target priority done. I'm not worried about that so much. The lab speed is definitely super important. Like, yeah. There's very little to nothing that I can think of that is going to take precedence over lab speed. Workshop respec will eventually become useful. I would say when it looks like you're getting close to getting your next ultimate weapon for getting Black Hole, hopefully. Um, Throw this in there, and yeah. As far as the rest, critical factor. This gives you more bonus than damage will, so you get a 0.03 value instead of 0.2 with every level. So just keep that in mind. But those go pretty fast. It seems like for the level that you're at right now. So maybe one of these days you'll pop in, maybe get this up to like level 15 compared to your level 30 attack speed. Not worried about the rest for the time being. Orb speed will eventually become important, especially with Black Hole, but for now it's fine. If you're having problems with vampires, Garlic Thorns is nice. It's a fairly it's one of the earliest, like, vampires are like, for early game, tends to kill a lot of players pretty easily, and it's one of the very first tools that you get as like a counter to a specific enemy type. So I'm actually really glad that they introduced this, and the fact that it's fairly quick overall to get done. Um, and I think in a way this is kind of like the first tutorial into how to you know start thinking about countering certain enemy types. So yeah. But if you're not getting killed by vampires anymore, then you can hold out on that one. Points per kill, always useful. One of your lab slots should probably be going to this just so you can start it. You can get it going. It's a really long one, and the sooner that you can just get it going and just, yeah, it's a long one. It sucks, but it'll save you a lot of stones in the end. So I would find a lab slot that you can put that in, and then just leave it alone. Just forget that lab slot even exists. Um, Maybe your lab slot 5, since it's far enough down, you can just be like, yeah, I'm just never gonna scroll down there, and yeah, eventually it'll be done, and you should be like, oh, hey, cool. But it'll take a long time, so just FYI on that. Chronofield reduction percent, until you have like 100% uptime, this isn't going to do a whole lot for you. Um, So I would just kind of forget about this lab for now. And yeah, it is what it is. Got GT bonus. Chain lightning. So chain lightning shock is basically the amp that it can give. It might be a little bit on the expensive side for you. So maybe you'll want to wait until you're easily making, I don't know how much you're making, but if you're making over like 1 million a run, maybe you can dip into this and unlock it. Generally, the multiplier will go pretty fast, but the shock chance lab, is it takes a long time to get through. So just FIF for that. I'm not even done with my shock chance on my account, so that gives you a reference for anything. Chronofield range does nothing for you for now, so I just forget it exists. Spotlight coins and spotlight missiles. So this actually might, that might be a little bit on the expensive side for you. But I think both of these labs actually might be good for you. Yeah. What you got, this might actually supplement so you don't have to think about chain lightning as much. Yeah. It's not gonna like kill a huge amount of enemies without the smart missile lab, but it's like, well, I don't know. If you unlock smart missiles, that'll probably enhance the damage from this. So that could be nice. Um, Usually, I wouldn't recommend jumping into spotlight missiles this early, but that might actually be pretty good. Um, you'll be killing enemies preferentially in your spotlight, so you'll probably be getting the spotlight coin bonus. So, assuming you can kill enemies with this, then might not be too bad. Huh. So, what do we want to go with for labs? I'm pretty sure at this point you've got your lab speed back in there. Slot 5, let's just assume that that doesn't exist, and that is chronofield duration. Let's have this one as like an econ ultimate weapon slot. And probably made a lot more progress on this. Well, I know you've made more progress. You're probably like level 32 or so at this point. Maybe 33. Oh. Part of me wants to see this get closer to level 50 before you're distracted out of it. But got one of the ultimate weapon ones there you can keep. Save duration, lab speed, got 3 slots. Ultimate weapon econ. Ooh, this is tough. So I want to see if there's a spot where we can get spotlight missiles in here. So if you can get rolling on that sooner, then as soon as you have smart missiles, if you've got that lab maxed out, you can get the labs rolling on smart missiles, and then just immediately like you can start seeing your tournament performance just skyrocket. So, mm, maybe on occasion. Let's do 2 levels of attack speed for every 1 level of spotlight missiles. Let's try this as a compromise. Let's see how that does. This is going to be something that you got to kind of play around with and experiment. Um, spotlight missiles is going to become progressively more impactful the closer you are to finishing it up, like very significantly. You'll start to see it actually have an effect. Yeah, that might be a good kind of trade off where you're like, oh, hey, we're getting a little bit of attack speed. We're getting this other thing that is contributing attacks per second to everything as well. So if you have armored units, both of these are going to be contributing against that. And I think that's where I would go with this slot. Yeah. And then you don't have any ultimate weapons that would suggest that you should Devo, so I wouldn't do that. You've got enough duration that I'm not thinking about any sort of hybrid setup. You can set your target priority towards enemies in spotlight to maximize as much of your of the bonus from this, especially when Golden Tower is active, and maybe just tank all the enemies. Just be like preference in spotlight, and you do a lot into spotlight coins, and yeah. I'm thinking actually for the lab slot 4 spotlight coins will probably provide a lot of value for you versus golden tower bonus or duration, assuming that you can buy those, which you can. So yeah, that's definitely where I would go with this. um Yeah, and with a few levels into Spotlight coins, you'll probably see a nice chunk of an increase in your coins per second and like the max and all of that, especially if you've got that target priority for enemies in Spotlight. Anyway, I think that's about it for what I've got for your particular account. Hope to help, and I will catch you guys later.